Bharat Ratna Sir M.Visvesvaraya and his automatic gates is the subject of discussion today. The design and patent of automatic floodgates of Sir M.Visvesvaraya is considered as one of the greatest achievements of him. These gates are highly mythified, glorified, resulting in the common people to believe Sir M.V. as a technical wizard. Today, our aim is to look into the history of concept, design, and installation and performance of these automatic floodgates. Those who are interested to know the principles of action of these gates could get the details from the book Sir M.Visvesvaraya, Dismantling the Myths, Critical Examination of Sir M.V. as a Civil Engineer. The link has been provided in the description. The original concept and design of automatic gates. Gates are provided in the dams to control the flow, water level, and to store the water above the weir level when flood recedes. Such gates have to be lifted or operated manually or with the help of mechanical equipment. In large dams, such gates can be 50 to 100 in number. To lift a large number of gates, much human or mechanical effort and time is required. It may not be possible to lift these gates during flash floods. In such situations, the gates which store water up to a certain level over the weir and open themselves automatically, allowing excess water to flow out when the water crosses fixed level are more suitable. Automatic gates, irrespective of human intervention and flood time, open up, allow excess water to flow out and close when the water in the reservoir reaches a certain level. Such automatic gates were installed over the dams throughout the world. Automatic gates have their own advantages and disadvantages. Whiting was the chief engineer of Bhatkar Dam, had designed the automatic gates which could be installed over the weir of dams. Even though the concept of the gates designed by Whiting were correct, there were some practical problems in it. When the water level in the reservoir went below the certain critical level, the gates were not closing immediately, but slowly. Due to this, water was lost, and instead of retaining water to full height of the gate, only 600 mm of water was retained above the weir level. E.K. Reynard improved the action of Whiting gates and obtained the patent for them. These gates were installed over weir of Bhatkar Dam. Bhatkar Dam had 103 vents of 3.05 meter width for flood discharge. Out of these, 88 vents were provided with E.K. Reynard's patented gates. From 1892, these gates worked very successfully. Khadakwasla Dam was built to supply drinking water to Pune as well as for irrigation. Many times, it was not possible to meet both these demands. Some attempts were made to retain water above the level. It was found that by raising reservoir level by 1.22 meters, that is 4 meters, it was possible to store additional water of 1.3 TMC of water, and this was almost 50% of the capacity of the reservoir. Therefore, in 1884, proposals were made for this. The steel columns were raised over the weir and 1.22 meter high wooden planks were fixed between these steel columns. During flood times, it was very dangerous to fix up the wooden planks across the embedded steel columns. In 1900, water flowed over the 1.22 meter high wooden planks and the workers were unable to remove the planks immediately. Therefore, like Bhatkar Dam, it was decided to install E.K. Reynolds gates. In 1899, Sir M.Visvesvaraya was the executive engineer of Mutha Canal of Khadakwasla. From here onwards, Sir M.Visvesvaraya started to appear as the inventor of automatic gates. Even though the gates first proposed by Whiting, improved by E.K. Reynolds, were working perfectly in Bhatkar Dam, it was not possible to install them on Khadakwasla Dam. In Bhatkar Dam, necessary arrangements were made during construction stage itself to install E.K. Reynolds gates. But Khadakwasla Dam was not built for such installation. Therefore, Sir M.Visvesvaraya came forward to suitably modify and install the Reynolds gates on Khadakwasla Dam. On 2/1/1902, Sir M.Visvesvaraya filed an application to the Secretary under Invention and Design Act of 1888 for obtaining patent for modified Reynolds gates. This was published as number 102 of 1901 in Government of India, Department of Revenue and Agriculture, Gazette of India, Part 2, Inventions and Designs. The patent was sought under the heading Improving the Automatic Action of Sluice Gates of Wasteways or Dams of Reservoirs. Conceptually and technically, there is no difference between Reynolds gate and the Sir M.Visvesvaraya gates. In the Reynolds scheme, for each gate there were two wells on either side of the gates. These wells had weights to automatically control the gates. Instead of this, MU grouped 8 gates and provided single weight in a single well for them. Visvesvaraya got patent for the improved gates. After obtaining the clearance to install them over Kadakvasla Dam, Visvesvaraya entered into an agreement with Messrs. Geo Gahagan and Company to manufacture these gates. In 1901 to 1903 duration, these gates were installed on Kadakvasla Dam. Visvesvaraya has reported that even though he had patent for the gates, he did not take any royalty as the installation of gates were done under his charge. On Kadakvasla Dam, 88 numbers automatic gates were installed. The cost of gates was 3 lakhs rupees and the installation and civil works amounted to 2 lakhs rupees. Similar gates were installed on Tigra Dam near Gwalior in Madhya Pradesh and Sagara Dam in Mysore state. Sir M.V. had also recorded that even after 45 years of installation, when he visited Kadakvasla, the gates were in full action. Panchet Dam, an upstream of Kadakvasla Dam, breached during heavy rains and the flood water overtopped Kadakvasla Dam, resulting in its collapse on 12th July 1961. Afterwards, new dam was built at the same place and Sir M.V. gates were not installed. Fife, who designed and constructed Kadakvasla Dam, knew that his methods were not correct and they did not follow the prevailing engineering standards of design of dams. Earthen bund was constructed on downstream of the dam to prevent from sliding. The patented E.K. Reynolds gates were first installed on Bhatkar Dam, which was designed and constructed as per the engineering practices of the day. Visvesvaraya was installing the gates on a dam which was not built as per the standards and whose safety was in doubt. Due to raising the storage height by installing the automatic gates, the hydrostatic forces on the dam would have increased and there were possibilities of compromising the safety of the dam. Visvesvaraya does not provide even single technical fact regarding issues such as whether any discussion was taken to re-strengthen or not to re-strengthen the dam, who took the final decision and what was the basis for that. The original concept of automatic gates does not belong to Sir M.Visvesvaraya. He appears in the third stage of such concept and progress, that is, Whiting, Reynolds and some Sir M.Visvesvaraya was the end user. Except the fact that gates opened and closed automatically, they are not very different from other floodgates. Anything created by humans has its own merits and demerits. If anything perfect is achieved, there will be nothing for humans to do further. Were the Sir M.V. gates so perfect without any conceptual and practical defects? Only the users of these gates can answer this. Nobody has neither recorded nor studied the maintenance, repair and performance of these gates. From concept and designs, some observations can be made on automatic gates of Sir M.Visvesvaraya. E.K. Reynolds gates were independent, but M.V. gates acted in group of 4 or 8. If any technical or performance problem occurs in any one of the gates, all the other gates will be inoperable. If any gate is taken out of repair, maintenance, then equivalent weight has to be placed in place of it. This has many practical problems. Therefore, if engineers who use the gates record the performance of the gates, then only their objective assessment can be made. But no such records have been made. The famous automatic gates of Visvesvaraya in Sagara Dam worked correctly once after installation. After this, the gates were opening up during the flood but were not closing down. In such situation, cranes were used to lower them to the position. Thus, it was against the principles of the automatic action and needed constant vigilance during floods. It was easy to operate gates operated by mechanical methods rather than unreliable automatic gates. The automatic gates on Krishnaraja Sagara Dam failed in performance since beginning of their installation. Automatic gates operating on various hydraulic concepts were installed throughout the world on various dams, but none of these got the coverage, mythification than the gates of Sir M.Visveshvaraya. The reasons behind these are out of the scope of this discussion. Thanking you.